So Bhagavad Gita in chapter 7 is emphasizing why knowledge is important to reach divinity or even understand divinity. Many scientists, famous ones like Einstein, Newton, Schrödinger, Oppenheimer, Tesla, and many others, over time, as they were acquiring more and more knowledge, went towards scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita. And surprisingly, all the ones that I mentioned quote from Bhagavad Gita in their works. Why? Einstein is one of the ones who understood the universe in the world at that time. There was no one else who could explain the universe better than him. Yet, he constantly cited from the Bhagavad Gita because he found the need. First, he understood the incompleteness in his understanding of the universe. He knew more than everybody else. And that is when he also knew that there is a lot more that he doesn't know. So, even at that stage, when you reach that level of understanding, of that level of knowledge, scientific knowledge in this case, it becomes even more clear that there is something more. So you're closer, that is when you're closer to divinity. And that is exactly what is the gist of the next few verses, 14 to 18. First, we start by understanding who is going to have difficulty reaching divinity. People who are constantly immoral, ignorant, are caught in this cycle of the three states of being we've been dealing with in the last few verses. They don't have time, first of all, to think about divinity. So they have very little chance of understanding divinity. Even those who are sort of interested in finding out divinity, when they get caught in the Maya, they have very little chance of getting out of that spiral of Maya. And Bhagavad Gita talks about 4 types of people who seek divinity. First, those who are in trouble. So I'm going through tough times in life. You look to God and say, please, God, help me get out of this suffering. That's one type. The second type are those who are curious. So you say there is God. What is it? Who is it? Is it a he? Is it a she? And you look for God. The third kind are those who want something. God, I have bought this new home. I'm going to go in and I'm going to be living in it. Please make sure my life will be happy there. Please, God, give me a better job that pays me better so that I can buy a new car. That variety, that's the third category. They're always in front of God asking for something. And the fourth variety is the one who, through knowledge, understands that there is something more, and I want to know what that is. Like Einstein, for instance, or many other scientists, or any one of our sages. You've heard Shankaracharya, the Mahapariva, the recent one of the recent ones, had incredible knowledge. Everyone who knew him would cite stories about how much he knew about the world and the universe. And he also knew a lot more about divinity than any one of us can even fathom. But there is a slight amount of bias. It's not a bias, but something that could be misconstrued as bias in the next couple of verses. Gita says that, in the words of Krishna, I like the fourth kind more. They are the ones who like me more. The fourth kind being the ones who seek knowledge. So why God created all of us? Why does he then say, or he or she says, I like the last one? Then why did you create the other three? Would be a good natural question. So it's not to be understood as a preference. Instead, it's more of a probabilistic statement. Because the other ones are more or less caught in the Maya, they have less chance of reaching me. Instead of interpreting the verse as Krishna saying, I like the fourth kind more, I would interpret it as the fourth kind are more likely to know me. So that's the gist of the verses for today, 14 to 18.